Thanks, Adrian. Moving now on to the industrial market snapshot. Gillian will again give us an overview of the vacancy data, and then Michael will go through the current status, the market trends, and the opportunities for tenants in the industrial market.
The industrial market continues to be a very landlord-friendly market, so it's critical tenants in this sector are receiving proactive advice from their tenant advisor. Vacancy levels have continued to decrease and are extremely low across all markets. Naturally, this decline in vacancy is pushing face rents up across all markets.
Thanks, Gillian. Look, I won't dwell on this slide too long, as I have used them in our last presentation, but I did want to show them once again, as they demonstrate so well the market dynamics across all Australian markets, and indeed, whilst it's not shown on these slides, the New Zealand markets as well. We can see that vacancy rates on the left-hand side are approaching zero, and on the right-hand side graph, you can see that there's been, particularly in the last 6 to 12 months, there's been a sharp increase in rents. Over the next few slides, I'll discuss the reasons behind this. So unfortunately, it is bad news for industrial tenants and occupiers. The Australian e-commerce penetration is relatively lower than the rest of the world. The US, UK, and the Asian markets, they're operating at around 25% of retail sales through e-commerce, whilst, as you can see, the red bars on the graph of the Australian markets, you can see the little dot above that, which is the market e-commerce penetration rate. Australia is below 5%, and there is further uptake anticipated, which will only lead to increased demand. And that, coupled with the limited supply of industrial land and much of the new development being secured by pre-commitments, will only lead to more pressure on stock and vacancy levels being below their current low levels or worse. Next slide, please. So in summary, the industrial market continues to be dominated by e-commerce and logistics. However, in addition to this, domestic suppliers are revisiting onshoring their manufacturing base to ensure that local inventory levels meet consumer demand. This is as a result of the ongoing supply chain disruptions due to COVID initially, but more recently exacerbated by the conflict in Ukraine and the recent outbreak of COVID again in China, and their zero tolerance to COVID, which has subsequently led to critical port closures. All in all, leading to further demand or potential further demand. There is also a flight to quality, similar to the retail, my apologies, the office sector. There is a flight to quality. But again, much of this is associated with pre-commitments to new buildings, and most of the new supply coming to the market is being consumed by pre-commitments. So regrettably, the net effect is that effective and face rents continue to trend upwards, vacancy levels tighten even further, and incentives are virtually evaporating. In the big markets, Sydney and Melbourne, in the key central locations, incentives are zero. You are not able to extract an incentive from a landlord. So where does it leave the industrial tenant in what is clearly a landlord's market? A number of the clients we're advising, rather than relocating, we are advising them to review how they do business and how they may better enable technology. As a result, we have seen that they've been able to optimize their footprint and increase productivity. Another opportunity is to look further afield into regional and emerging markets where there is generally more industrial stock and at more affordable rentals. LPC focuses on 5 key areas in its lease negotiations, which are cost, risk, flexibility, obligations, and guarantees. Given the current market dynamics, it is very difficult to counter the arguments for increased rents and lower incentives. So we're advising our clients that it's more appropriate that they focus on the lease terms that provide greater flexibility, or place obligation on landlords for initiatives such as ongoing commitments to environmental improvements. And finally, future-proof your property and implicitly your business now by engaging with the market early to ensure that you are well informed and in a position to act promptly. Gone are the days where you can simply rely upon a real estate search engine to provide you with a range of options. Increasingly, a large portion of the industrial transactions we have negotiated have been off market. That is, they're not advertised. And we leverage our network of agents, owners and developers, and would not have otherwise have been found through the more traditional industrial search engines. So that's it for the industrial sector. Unfortunately, it is not all gloom and doom, but it is a very, very tight market.